Hey everybody, I'm going to talk a little bit about different types of trees and their medical uses today. Behind me, right here, I have a cherry tree. You notice the bark goes upward. And I will show you some leaves next to me because they're a little bit closer than these ones are. The cherry tree bark, only the bark on this, will help with colds, coughs, bronchitis, lung problems, diarrhea, gout, cancer. This tree is also used for dyeing drinks and other things. Over here, and I will show you what the leaf looks like. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it or not, but it's right there, that lower branch. And that is what your cherry tree looks like. There's the base of it. Okay, this next tree that I am doing is considered a slippery elm. The reason why they call it a slippery elm is because it falls off and sheets bark just like that. This tree helps with bowel diseases, coughs, sore throats, UTIs, which is urinary tract infections, and heartburn or GERD. See if I can get any closer to it without touching anything I'm not supposed to. And right there it is. This tree also helps as lozenges for sore throats. When you make a tea and it extracts out all its medical uses and can be used as a poultice as well. Alright, this one we have an oak tree. See the leaves right there. This tree, when turned into a tea, will help with diarrhea, colds, fevers, and coughs, bronchitis, improves your appetite, and improves digestion. See if I get a little closer. See the bark. Okay, I don't know how close I'm going to be able to get to the weeping willow tree. Where in the world did it go? Oh, there it is. There's the leaves. Right here. So it's pretty far back in. If I find a closer picture or the bark, I will definitely go ahead and show that to you. But the leaves and the bark for this tree can help treatment in abscesses, fevers, skin conditions, ulcers, An infusion of the bark can help treat diarrhea and fevers. The bark also, if turned into a mouthwash, will help with a toothache. And it has the properties in it to relieve headaches and anti-inflammatory as well. There's a better view of the weeping willow, those summits. Well, let me see if I could go find the trunk. Okay, I found the bark of a weeping willow. As you can see, it has little branches coming off the sides of it. This tree's roots will travel up to 100 miles in a source of water. So definitely be able to find it near water. You don't want, this isn't the type of tree you want to put in your yard, because when the tree finds your septic system, the tree's roots will crush your septic system and you will have to get a whole new one. There's no way around that. The roots on this tree are very strong, like any other. Right here we have a maple. There is several different types of maple. But when this tree is used for medical uses, the inner bark, when made into a tea, is a blood tonic, a diuretic, helps treat coughs, diarrhea, and they can be made into lozenges. The root base of it be made in maple syrup, like I said, maple candy, maple sugar, which I have done. And making maple sugar takes quite a while to do, along with maple syrup takes a while. It also helps with kidney cleansing and helps the liver. Okay, this is the peach leaf willow. See pods up close. This is another willow that likes water, which I can't get in there to show you the bark because it's pretty crowded in there. But this tree, when turned into a tonic, is anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, astringent, diuretic, a sedative. It helps with ovarian pain, and it's a very interesting tree. Like I said, the willow roots will travel up to 100 miles, so you don't want this in your yard. Any water source, it will go to it. Septic tanks, wells, anything like that, and crush it to get to the source of liquid. I don't know how well you guys can see the bark all the way back there. There we go. But it's right there. It's a little hard to see from where I'm standing, but hopefully you guys got to see it. Hey, one of my personal favorite trees is birch. There's yellow birch, black birch, and white. As you can see right there, that's the white sleeves. This birch will help with skin rashes, lost hair, purifying the blood, and urinary tract infections when boiled into a tea. Also a good fire starter if you're lost in the woods. The birch oils can be turned into a fire starter as well. And hopefully I will be able to show that to you when I go out camping and how to do that. This is a wild rose bush. Right there, this is buds. Underleaf. This bush helps relieve colds, flus, helps support your immune system. It's antibacterial, helps with depression, inflammatory, relieves varicose veins, menstrual, congestion, and pain. It supports the reproductive system. After the roses open and they go ahead and they leave this little ball, I guess you would want to say. You use the ball for the tea. You can use leaves for the teas. And it'll help relieve all that I just listed. I don't know how well I can get back there. As you can see, the thorns on this. And when the seed pod develops after the roses have already done flowered, sorry if I got my hair in there, it can be turned into a jelly, and the seed pods are very high in vitamin C. There's another one, different type. Another wild rose bush. This one looks like it might be pink when it opens. There's pink and white. Those are the only ones that I've seen so far. There could be many different colors for the flowers, but that's what's known in my area. Everybody else's area is going to be a little bit different with plants and different species of plant. Alright, this is the weeping willow. Finally found one close enough to me I can show you. This tree will help with a tonic or decoction of the leaves, the treatment of abscesses, fever, rheumatism, skin disease, and ulcers. The infusion of the bark to treat diarrhea. This tree will also as you can see, the bark is going to peel right off. But this tree will help with a toothache. It has antihistamines in it. Of course, this is an older tree. Bottom of the root base. Now, if you're out in the wild and you get scratched, get cut, or whatnot, cobwebs. Take the cobweb, ball it up, put it on there. It'll stop the bleeding for you, which I'm going to do a video on. I am not positive when I'm going to post that though, so just stay tuned and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you. Okay, this is an apple tree. Apple tree is, of course, all natural, good for weight loss, heart healthy, lowers diabetes, good bacteria for your stomach, helps prevent cancers, can help fight asthma, this can be, there are several types of apple trees. This is an old apple that was on it, and I have the apple flower petals right here. Like I said, it can be turned into applesauce, apple jelly, apple pie filling. I've made a apple pie jam out of apples as well. There are several different types of apples out there. That's what the bark looks like on this tree. As you can see, there's a couple ants. Bees are definitely going to like this tree when the apples start to rot, so be careful of that. This is one type of pine. There are several types of pine out there. You take the needles and make a tree, or make a tea out of them. Sorry. Helps with colds, coughs, allergies, sinus infections, UTI. You see the new growth. The lighter green is the new growth on this tree. Helps with skin infections, joint inflammation due to arthritis. Don't know if I can find any on this tree or not. There is a thing called fatwood, which is a very good fire starter. My son actually showed me this. And like I said, I'm not positive if I can find any on here. Nope. That's the inside of it though. It's usually the sap from the tree that's considered fatwood. There's a little bit right there. Anywhere a tree has been wounded, you can take the inner bark of the pine trees and fry them up kind of like potato chips. If you have to, when you're out in the wild, camping, lost, or anything like that, at least you have a source of food. The pine needles are very high in vitamin C, which is one thing you want to remember. Because when you're out there, you definitely have to have your vitamin C. Vitamin C helps with a lot of different things. There's a little honeybee. Not worried about getting stung by a honeybee. They're really docile. They'll land on you and just sit there. And next I have red maple, which I'm going to try to be careful walking through here. Let's see it. Up here. This tree has astringent properties. Can be applied to sore eyes. The inner bark is used infusion to treat cramps, which I am not going to get too close to that because there's a bunch of myrtle, purple myrtle around me, and like I said in my previous video, it's related to poison ivy, and I am highly allergic to poison ivy, so I don't want to step in that. But that is what your red maple looks like. Okay, so when you're out in the woods, when you're out in the woods and gathering any type of tree, any type of herb, anything like that, when you go and do a tea out of it, you want to let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. Let it steep. So that way you get all the medicinal properties out of it. Spearmint, for example, if you go and dry that, it's more potent. So let that sit for about 5 minutes. All the medicinal uses will be withdrawn out into the tea, where you can go ahead and add maple syrup to it for its medical uses, or honey for its medical uses. I prefer not to use sugar. There's no medical uses for sugar, as far as I know. There could be. So if you go ahead and do anything like that, you want to make sure you let it sit there and steep. I use my coffee pot for it during the winter. Say somebody's got a cold in my house, that's how I do it, is with the coffee pot. You get more benefits out of it if you let it sit there and steep in your cup or in a pan, anything along that lines. You can use a coffee filter, put your dry stuff or your wet stuff inside of it, twist it up, put a bread tie on there, and you're good to go. Bring it to a boil and then turn it off and let it sit for a while. For tinctures, when it comes to that, I like to use vodka. The stronger the proof, the more uses you're gonna get. So, for example, I did a chaga tincture and posted that in one of my videos. I let that sit for 8 weeks. After it sat for 8 weeks, I went ahead and proceeded to finish my tincture. It does take a while to let it sit there to do what it's got to do and withdraw all the medical uses, but it's well worth it. There's also a cold infusion, which that would be your cold infusion, letting it sit there. Put it in the fridge. You can leave it on a canning shelf like I did. There's the hot infusion, which I prefer to call it warm infusion. The reason being is when you use your carrier oils or anything like that with the plant you have chosen that you want to withdraw it from, you don't want that oil to boil. If you do, all you're going to do is fry it, and it's going to be no good. So that's why I call it a warm infusion. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon.